This is a summary of the 13th season of the Debbie and Carrie show. Looking forward to leaving the mayor's office in a few months, but she and the rest of the town must face a new threat. A local farmer, Wilfred Giant, reports to her that he and other farmers have apparently been swindled out of land by a corporate developer. Now that land is about to be used for fracking, which the farmers oppose. Simon Wilson warns Sandy that fracking for oil will do major environmental damage, including contaminating the town's natural sources of water. Sandy decides to fight back, arranging a town hall so she can warn the people about the problems with fracking. Then she proposes a solution: build a power station of solar panels and windmills to provide energy for the town so it won't depend on fossil fuels anymore and thus make fracking a non-issue. Wayne Bentley opposes the plan, seeing it as too expensive and unnecessary, but he is outvoted on the ruling council and so the plan is approved. Also opposing the plan is Mike Florence, who owns the Speedy Burgers diner. He is also angry about excessive taxes Sandy approved, and will campaign against her policies. Debbie Smith reports on the America for All News podcast that Georgia Palmer, the actress who played Hermine Benson on The Blazing Beauty show, and Diana Kelly in the Kelly Sisters movie, won an Emmy Award for the latter role. On behalf of the farmers near the town, Sandy files a class action lawsuit against the oil company that bought their land. The lawsuit is successful and then Sandy herself, using the town's money, buys that land from the farmers at a far better price than the oil company paid. The land will now be used to build the new power station. Don Dacron, the oil company executive, vows revenge on Sandy, planning to run her out of office, not knowing she already plans to leave office soon. Karen Bruno, who once bullied Richard Sims, now apologizes to him for that, saying that now she is herself being bullied by her own brother Peter. Deborah Belmont, the teen who gave birth to triplets the previous year and gave them up for adoption, now learns that her zealous parents plan to send her to the new Christian Wear Academy in Arlington to straighten her out. Don Dacron now persuades Rush Scumbaugh to move to Sandy Smith's town and run for mayor against her. Scumbaugh then asks Annie Revolter to marry him to boost his public image. Revolter accepts because of their shared political beliefs and ambitions. Sean Flowers, an employee at the Speedy Burgers diner, overhears Rush Scumbaugh's plans, and eventually Sandy learns of the conspiracy. To stop Scumbaugh, Sandy persuades Simon Wilson to run for mayor again. And then has the ruling council pass an ordinance requiring that candidates for mayor of the town live in it for at least 5 years, instantly disqualifying Scumbaugh from running for the office. So the newlyweds take over an AM radio station near the town and use it to begin broadcasting the Rush Scumbaugh and Annie Revolter show. One of the first guests on their show is Mike Florence, who is now running for mayor on a platform of stopping the construction of the power station and lowering sales taxes in the town. Sandy orders the construction of the power station to be accelerated so it will be finished before the mayor's race is done. Mike Florence's allies include Wayne Bentley and Matt Lesensky, who was a pilot working out of DFW Airport, but has now moved to the town to start a tech store, and to marry Kelly Grimm, a police sergeant of the town. The Lessie family is moving into a larger house, one big enough to include Elizabeth Lessie and her recording equipment, so she will move from the Smith-Wilson mansion to join the rest of the Lessie family. At a meeting of his supporters, Mike Florence accepts help from the pro-business faction among Republicans, but rejects the agenda of the faithful remnant, even when its president, Nicholas Owen, warns Florence that he may need Owen's help to win the election. Outside the town, the new power station is almost finished and it's already beginning to generate electricity to benefit the town. Simon Wilson and Mike Florence have a debate over what they want as mayor of the town. As expected, the topics of the debate are taxes and the power station. Sandy Smith's friends and relatives throw a surprise party for her at the Tuscany Tavern, since she is about to turn 60 years old. The Owen brothers, Nicholas and Fred, go to the town and post hundreds of flyers, attacking Simon Wilson's character rather than his actual political positions. Officer Kelly Grimm tells Sandy about the hateful posters, and Simon Wilson learns about them too, and naturally blames Florence for them. But Florence denies any responsibility for the posters. Instead, the faithful remnant, the very faction Florence rejected, is blamed. So Simon Wilson puts out flyers of his own defending himself. And and Sandy takes down the hateful posters and has them burned. This move only increases the determination of both Rouge Scumba and the faithful remnant to attack Sandy Smith. Don Dagron then attempts to bribe Mike Florence by offering $100,000 to support his campaign for mayor. But Florence, after being told what Dagron did to the farmers several months ago, rejects the bribe. Indeed, Florence's refusal to engage in the kind of dirty politics Ted Anderson was notorious for is what allows him to win the election, and so he becomes Sandy Smith's successor. After taking office, Mike Florence keeps his campaign promise to lower sales taxes, but not so low that the town can't pay for its essential services or pay down its public debt. And the newly completed power station is kept operating as well. Also newly completed is the Christian Way Academy of Arlington, Texas, and one of its first students is Deborah Belmont, much to her resentment. The principal of the new school, Paul Smith, promises Deborah's parents that she is in good hands. A new school year has started and Peter Bruno is now in 7th grade and thus attending high school. He is soon confronted by the Leslie twins, Tony and Tommy, who are aware of Peter bullying their nephew Richard the previous year, so they warn him that they will be watching Peter in case he ever tries to bully anyone else in the high school. Suzanne has now released a new solo album and assembles a new band named Hypatia to go on tour to promote the album. The band consists of herself as lead singer, her wife Laura Park as bassist, her brother Tommy as drummer, Rebecca Lemmy as lead guitarist, and Gabrielle Nuria as keyboardist. But Suzanne is having pain in her joints, putting the tour in some doubt. In Tulsa, Jack tells Steve that the woman he was about to marry, Kendra, was murdered. She was targeted because she was transgender and the killer left a note on her body threatening Jack and claiming to be part of the faithful remnant. Jack swears to get revenge. In the town, Vicky Sims decides to write a children's book about a superhero modeled after herself, and she teams up with Carrie to have her illustrate the book. By now, Carrie has regained her ability to speak normally a year after the stroke that damaged her brain speech center. Dr. Drake tells Bella Sterling that she is now pregnant with twins. Debbie now reports that Jack Watson has also been murdered. But that is not true. Jack was assaulted and left for dead, but he survived. Sandy then helps Jack identify his attacker. It was Paul Smith. Paulette Conlon, mother of Tara Sims, now visits the home of the Sims couple. She wants to reconnect with Tara because her husband and Tara's father has now died. Mrs. Conlon later makes contact with Tara for the first time since Tara left the Conlon home, and Tara, her husband Jonathan, and their daughter Helen soon come down to Texas to meet Tara's mother. But the tension between the estranged mother and daughter is such that it can be cut with a saw. Both Helen and Jonathan eventually persuade Tara and Paulette to forgive each other, and then Paulette goes to Boston with Tara to live with Tara's family, since the mother would otherwise be homeless and broke. Vicky Sims and Paul Jenkins go to Arlington to investigate the Christian Way Academy in Arlington and its principal, Paul Smith. And they are shocked to learn that Deborah Belmont is not only being forced to attend the school, but Paul Smith has been raping her to try to break her rebellious spirit. Vicky promises to free her. A week later, Vicky and Paul Jones arrive in the town to consult with Vicky Sims about the book she and Carrie have been working on. But they are also there to help free Deborah Belmont. Paul Jones is especially outraged over the fact that Paul Smith both resembles him and shares his first name, so he wants to clear his own name by helping bring his doppelganger to justice. So Paul Jones goes to Arlington with Carrie. And in the middle of the night they break into the dorm where Deborah is being held to free her. They are caught by Paul Smith, however. Smith intends to kill all three of them, but he is stopped and killed instead by Jack. Paul Jones, Carrie Sims and Deborah Belmont flee to the town, while Jack stays behind to turn himself into the Arlington police. Deborah Belmont gives a detailed statement to the town's police department about the abuse she suffered at the Christian Way Academy she was at, and Sandy offers to become her attorney and file a lawsuit against both the school and Deborah's parents to grant her emancipation. Belmont then goes to live at the Smith-Wilson mansion, where she is delighted to see the triplets she gave birth to. Finally, the two Vickies, Jones and Sims, look over the material of the book Vicky Sims has been writing, and Jones says she could have her studio begin working on a TV show based on the book immediately. And so ends the 13th season of the Debbie and Carrie Show.